My name is Riley Carter. I'm 27 years old. And this is how I took revenge on the man who destroyed my face, my career, and almost my life. The first thing I remember was the cold burn of the IV in my arm. That and the smell. Antiseptic, sharp, like a place where pain lingers in the walls. Machines beeped steadily beside me, counting the seconds I didn't want to live through. I didn't cry. Not at first. I just stared at the ceiling and tried to pretend I wasn't there. Because if I didn't move, didn't breathe too hard, maybe I could go back. Back to the version of myself I used to love. I was beautiful once, not just online beautiful. I was the girl brands chased. I had a contract with Sephora. A billboard in Times Square. 500,000 followers waiting for my next skincare review. I had plans. Then came the acid. One moment, I was walking to a cafe to film a casual GERWM collab. The next, pain, sizzling like lightning down my cheek. Screaming, people gasping, someone calling for help. They say it was random, just a sick twist of fate, a monster with no motive. But I know better. It was personal. You don't forget the smell of your own burning skin, or the cold realization that no amount of surgery will ever give you back the face you built your entire world on. It's a special kind of grief, mourning yourself. But grief didn't last. Rage did. I used to live for the camera, for the perfect light, the subtle filters that made me glow. Now I avoid mirrors, can't even stand the shadow I cast. My left eye droops slightly where the scar tissue pulled tight. My cheek, well, let's just say makeup won't cover what's left. But I'm still here, and I remember everything. The voice behind me that day, the way he said my name before the splash, the bitter gloating softness of it. He wanted me to know it was him, and I do. Ethan Rhodes, my ex, my mentor, my mistake. He wasn't just the man I loved. He was the man who taught me everything I knew about branding, image, influence. He said we were unstoppable, that we'd rise together. Until I got bigger than him, until I left. He thought he could take everything from me, my career, my confidence, my identity. But this isn't just a story about revenge. It's about reclaiming power, about unlearning what he taught me, that my worth was only skin deep. I won't just make him pay. I'll make sure he knows what it feels like to lose everything. And when I'm done, he'll wish he'd killed me. I grew up in a town so small you could blink and miss it. Fairburn, Georgia. One stoplight, 3 churches. The kind of place where everyone knew your name and your business. My mom raised me on her own. 2 jobs, no excuses. She worked nights at the hospital and cleaned offices on weekends. We didn't have much, but she gave me everything she could. Her cheekbones and her backbone, most of all. She used to say, "Don't let anyone tell you who you are, Riley. You tell them." At 19, I got scouted on Instagram. Just a local brand wanting to feature real girls in their new campaign. I didn't think much of it. I barely had 2,000 followers back then. But they flew me to Atlanta, gave me a full beat, and I saw myself in the monitor and thought, wait, is this who I could be? That was the beginning. I moved to LA with a suitcase, a half-charged dream, and more ambition than sense. I lived in a Craigslist share with 4 other girls and filmed my first Get Ready With Me video in the bathroom under flickering lights. But I was good, not just at makeup, at honesty. I didn't just show people how to cover breakouts. I talked about the nights I cried myself to sleep, the days my anxiety left me frozen. I turned vulnerability into currency. People saw themselves in me, and they stayed. By 25, I had brand deals, a 6-figure skincare line, a podcast, even a short-lived docuseries deal with a streaming network. I was someone. And then came Chase Holloway. We met on a podcast. He was the surprise guest during a tech collab episode. He walked in late, no apology, radiating billionaire energy and almond milk arrogance. Sharp jaw, designer hoodie, eyes like he'd already read your secrets. Chase was everything I wasn't supposed to fall for. But when he looked at me, really looked, it felt like being chosen. He said he loved how real I was, said he wanted to help me scale, build an app, invest in me. We were in bed the next night. Publicly, we were hashtag goals, lavish vacations, matching outfits, candid shots that weren't candid at all. He posted me like a trophy. I posted him like a fairy tale. But behind the scenes, he didn't hit me. He didn't have to. Chase rewired me. At first, it was little things. You should delete that post, babe. It's too thirsty. Or, I don't think you realize how lucky you are to have someone like me in your corner. Then came the passwords. Then came the phone checks. Then the subtle punishments. Cold silences, withheld affection, calculated reminders of who made me relevant. He isolated me like it was a privilege, said he was protecting me from leeches, friends, family, anyone who questioned him. My mom warned me. She said, Riley, love doesn't control. It lifts. I told her. She didn't understand. That Chase was different. That he got me. I didn't see I was losing pieces of myself until they were already gone. It wasn't until a hotel room in Miami that everything snapped. He accused me of seducing my followers because I wore a tank top in a skincare reel. Said I was making a joke out of him. Then he picked up my phone and threw it, hard, against the mirror. Glass everywhere. Shards on the bedspread like confetti from a ruined party. He didn't touch me, but I flinched like he did. I left, blocked his number, ghosted our collabs, took my mother's advice a year too late and disappeared for a while. I told myself it was over, until the attack. It happened 2 months later. Broad daylight, outside a cafe I loved. I was on my way to meet a former makeup artist who said she missed working with me. I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned. And then pain, like my skin was peeling in real time, like my face was melting off my skull. I don't remember screaming, but they told me I did. They said it took 3 people to hold me down. They called it a random act, a masked man. No prints, no motive. But I know better. I heard his voice just before it hit, calm, soft, like a lullaby wrapped in venom. Hi, Riley. It was him, Chase. He didn't need to kill me. He just needed to erase me. The girl on the billboards, gone. The face that launched the product lines, ruined. The brand, silent. The sponsors, ghosted. But here's the part he didn't understand. He didn't destroy me. He freed me. Because now I don't care about being likable. I don't care about followers. I don't care about staying quiet. Now, all I care about is revenge. And I'm going to make sure the whole world watches. The night it happened, I was glowing in every sense but the one that mattered. It was a soft launch party for a new, clean beauty brand, tucked inside a minimalist gallery in Silver Lake. The kind of gig I used to get without trying. Now, it took 3 emails and a favor from a PR girl who still believed in me. I didn't stay long. A few photos, a fake laugh or 2. I posed by the product wall, careful to angle the left side of my face, the side that still photographed okay under dim lights and set in spray. The crowd wasn't huge, but a couple of fans recognized me near the bar. I smiled, signed an empty palette with a borrowed pen. Then I slipped out the back. I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want pity. I just wanted to get to my car before the lights got too bright and the whispers started again. The alley was narrow and quiet. LA quiet, meaning a hum of traffic in the distance and the occasional clang of a dumpster lid. I'd parked around the corner. I didn't hear him approach. One moment, I was adjusting my jacket. The next, a shadow moved fast from behind the dumpster. Then, splash. It wasn't water. It felt like fire licking into my skin, down to the bone, like something alive had latched onto my face and started chewing. My scream was animal, raw, unfiltered, from somewhere deeper than I knew I had. I clawed at my skin, peeled off my jacket, tried to wipe it away, but it only spread. My eyes blurred, my legs gave out. Sirens came eventually, but everything after that is a blur, like someone cut up a reel of pain and pasted it together with static and screaming. I woke up in a white room, bandaged, blind in one eye. The first thing I saw was a nurse leaning over me, her voice soft. "You're lucky to be alive." Lucky. I didn't feel lucky. I felt erased. The doctors told me the truth no one wants to say out loud, that the burns were deep, full thickness, that there would be permanent damage, that I'd need grafts, surgeries, years of them. They tried to say it gently, like wrapping barbed wire in silk, but I wasn't listening to their tone. I was listening to the words. Permanent, disfigurement, irreversible. The police came. 2 detectives. One took notes like he was bored. The other gave me a pamphlet about victim resources. They said there were no working cameras in the alley, no eyewitnesses, no fingerprints, no usable footage. Random street violence, they called it. Except it wasn't. A week before the attack, Chase messaged me. It was short, chilling. "You think you can just walk away from me?" I showed the cops. They shrugged, said it was vague, said it wasn't enough to prove anything. "You'd need more to tie him to something like this," one of them said. Something like this. As if someone had just stolen my phone, not melted half my face off. I spiraled after that. The beauty industry doesn't wait for anyone, especially not someone who can't front a campaign anymore. The brands that used to flood my inbox with PR packages suddenly went silent. My manager stopped replying. One by one, partnerships vanished. And the comments? Brutal. I'd built a career on my face. Now people said I was unrecognizable. Freakish. That I was milking it for sympathy. Someone asked if I'd faked the whole thing for clout. But the worst part wasn't the cruelty. It was the silence. The influencer friends who didn't reach out. The fans who moved on. In one night, I lost my looks. I lost my income. But I also lost something else. My silence. Because I wasn't going to lose myself too. That's when I stopped waiting for justice. When I realized the system wasn't going to help me and the industry wasn't going to save me. So I decided I'd do it myself. He thought he'd silenced me, but he'd just created a new version of me. Sharper, colder, hungrier. The old Riley. She wanted to be loved. This Riley. She wants revenge, and Chase Holloway has no idea what's coming. After the attack, I disappeared. Not just from the public, from myself. I moved back to Georgia, to my mother's house, the same tiny ranch where I used to practice eyeliner in a cracked mirror and dream about LA from a twin bed with floral sheets. It was humbling, suffocating, necessary. The press didn't follow me, not for long. They got their headlines, their shock value, their side-by-side photos of before and after. I stopped checking. I didn't need reminders of how far I'd fallen. Most days, I didn't leave at the guest room. I kept the blinds shut, couldn't stand sunlight or mirrors. I'd stare at the ceiling for hours, numb and silent, flinching at every unexpected sound. In sleep, I saw the attack on loop. The moment before the pain. The voice. Hi, Riley. Sometimes I woke up screaming. Other times, just wet-cheeked and hollow. My mom did her best. Brought me soup, sat on the edge of the bed, and stroked my hair like I was still a little girl. But we didn't talk much. There were no words for this kind of breakage. Eventually, she said, "You need help I can't give you," and handed me the card of a therapist. I said nothing, but I went. Dr. Eun Kim was quiet and sharp-eyed, with a calm that disarmed me. No pity, just presence. Her office smelled like cinnamon and books. For weeks, I barely spoke, just sat there, tense and brittle, like one wrong question would shatter me. Then one day, she asked something no one else had. "What would justice look like for you? Not healing, not forgiveness, justice." The word hung in the air, heavy and hot. It cracked something open. That night, I started going through my old files, texts, voicemails, emails I'd buried in archived folders because they were too dramatic to keep. Photos I'd once deleted but recovered from the cloud. A bruise on my arm from when he grabbed me too hard at Coachella. A torn dress, my mascara-streaked face in a bathroom mirror after one of his rants. I found voice memos too. Fights I'd recorded secretly when I started to feel unsafe. His voice, low and venomous, accusing me of cheating because I liked a comment on a skincare post. Him calling me a glorified filter, telling me I'd be nothing without him. I listened. I catalogued. I built a digital vault. Evidence of who he really was, buried behind the curated facade. And then I found the headline. Chase Holloway announces new dating app. A safer, respectful space for women. I stared at the screen, nauseated. Safe, respectful, female first. Chase was reinventing himself. Again, cloaking his narcissism in feminism, selling his abuse as empowerment. I laughed, loud. Then I cried, then I got to work. I created a burner identity. Eleanor Vale, Stanford MBA, daughter of a fictitious VC legend. A woman who looked the part, sleek, poised, ruthless in heels. I built her LinkedIn, curated her digital footprint, even registered a shell domain for her investment firm. And then I joined the waitlist for Chase's app. 2 weeks later, I was approved for early beta access. His profile was exactly what I expected. Photos in black turtlenecks, a staged dog adoption pic, quotes from Brené Brown and Naval Ravikant. Barf. I swiped right. He matched in 5 minutes. Chase. Didn't think a woman like you would be on here. Intrigued. Elena. Me. Curiosity's a strong investment principle. We chatted for days. I made her confident, but just deferential enough to stoke his ego. I asked about his company, praised his vision, dropped terms like seed stage pipeline and exit strategy. He ate it up. When I hinted at investing, he offered to jump on a Zoom call to explore synergy. I scheduled it for a Friday afternoon, recorded everything. He joined from a glass-walled office in downtown LA, smug, lit perfectly. Big fan of your father's work, he said. You're a legacy player. I smiled with my voice. Let's talk about you, I said. You've built something really redemptive, he laughed. That's the idea. I've had a rough year. The media loves a villain arc. I tilted my head. Ex-girlfriend drama? That's when he said it, smirking like he was in on some private joke. My ex tried to cancel me. I had to make sure she couldn't talk anymore. He laughed again, like it was nothing, like it was funny. I kept my face blank, but inside I was vibrating. Game on. I ended the call politely, logged out, saved the video, backed it up, Twice. He didn't know it yet, but he'd just given me the key, not just to destroy him, but to expose him in his own words. This wasn't about likes anymore. This was about truth. He'd taken my face, my name, my silence. Now I was going to take everything. And I'd do it the same way he did, smiling, calm, one perfectly calculated move at a time. But make no mistake, this wasn't redemption, it was war. Every move I made was quiet, sharp, intentional. I used what little I had left in my savings. Money I'd stashed before the brand deals dried up, before the bills piled higher than my inbox. Most of it went to a private investigator named Marisol Vega, ex-FBI, all grit, no bullshit. She didn't blink when I told her what I suspected. Men like that leave a trail, she said. They always do. You just have to know where to look. She started digging. Credit card statements, travel records, phone logs, public surveillance, stuff that takes someone who knows how to ask without permission. 3 weeks later, she found it. A prepaid debit card, purchased in cash, used only once, at a gas station convenience store the night before the attack. Attached to a burner phone, no name. But security footage showed Chase, clear as day, buying the card, glancing at the camera like he didn't even care. Arrogance, his favorite scent. Marisol traced the burner phone's signal near the party venue the night of the attack. Enough circumstantial data to build a wall of evidence. But I didn't go to the tabloids. I went to the truth. On a Thursday afternoon, I posted a 20-minute video to my old YouTube channel. It was called What Pretty Costs. No music, no filters, just me in natural light, my scars front and center. I used to be known for my face, I said. Now I'm showing it to you like this, because it's time you knew what it cost me to keep quiet. I told my story, the love bombing, the control, the fear, the silence. I played the audio from our old fights, showed screenshots of his threats, read his message. You think you can just walk away from me? Then came the Zoom call recording. I played the clip. My ex tried to cancel me. I had to make sure she couldn't talk anymore. And then I said his name, clearly, calmly. His name is Chase Holloway. He is not a feminist. He is not a visionary. He is an abuser. And he tried to destroy me because I stopped letting him control me. I ended with a single line. I'm not hiding anymore. And I don't care if you believe me. The truth is already out. Within hours, it exploded. Justice. For Riley trended for 5 straight days. TikTok flooded with reaction videos. Influencers who'd ghosted me suddenly posted tearful apologies. Even a few of Chase's ex-colleagues came forward, quietly at first, then publicly, sharing their own horror stories. Chase went silent. Then he did the only thing cowards know how to do when they're cornered. He sued me. Defamation, emotional damages, character assassination. But this time, I had receipts, a vault of them. And now, the DA had taken notice. Within a month, formal charges were filed. Aggravated assault, premeditated battery, obstruction of justice. And suddenly, he was the one in hiding. The trial began in the spring. The courtroom smelled like lemon cleaner and stale tension. Press filled the gallery. Cameras waited outside. And there he was. Chase Holloway in a tailored suit, acting like a man wronged. He didn't look at me, not once, but I looked at him. When it was my turn to testify, I shook as I took the stand. My hands were clammy, my throat dry. My scars itched beneath the light fabric of my blouse. But then I locked eyes with him, and I found my voice. You didn't just scar my face, I said loud and clear. You tried to erase me. You made me think my worth ended where your approval did. You made me afraid to speak, to leave, to live. I paused. Let the weight of it settle. But I'm still here, and now the whole world sees who you really are. Silence. Even the judge looked rattled. His lawyer tried to object, but the damage was done. I stepped down, heart pounding. But later, like I'd finally let go of the part of me still trapped in that alley, screaming for help. The verdict would take days, maybe weeks, but the court of public opinion had already spoken. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel powerless. I felt seen. Chase Holloway was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Attempted assault with a deadly weapon. Witness intimidation. The judge called him a predator hiding behind progress. The prosecutor played the Zoom clip for the jury. I didn't watch him when the verdict was read. I didn't need to. I already knew he was guilty, not just in court, in truth. A month later, I won the civil case too. Enough for what I needed, more surgeries, continued therapy, and the seed money to build something that mattered. I didn't go back to beauty. I didn't need to. Instead, I founded Face Forward, a non-profit for survivors of image-based violence, acid attack victims, burn survivors, women who'd been brutalized for existing in the wrong body, in the wrong place, with the wrong man. Revenge porn, stalking, you name it, we'd seen it. In our meetings, there were no filters, no glam, just truth. Some came with fresh scars, others with years of silence behind them. We held space, we cried, we laughed, we raged, and together we healed. I remember one woman, Lila, who'd had her jaw broken by an ex she dared to leave. She whispered during her first session, voice trembling, "I used to be so pretty." I squeezed her hand. "You still are." But I also told her what I now believed. We are more than what was done to us. Face Forward grew fast. Donations poured in. I spoke on panels, at schools, at shelters. Sometimes I wore a scarf, sometimes not. Eventually, I didn't care who stared. The mirror and I made peace. My final surgery restored some symmetry. Nothing drastic, just enough to ease the tension in my jaw, help me sleep without pain. But perfection? That was never the goal. I wore my scars like armor now, not to cover, to show what I survived. They didn't ruin me, I said once during a keynote. They revealed me. I thought revenge meant destroying him, but real revenge was reclaiming myself. He tried to silence me, and now I speak for the ones who still can't. I stand in front of the mirror. No makeup, no lights, no angles, just me. I run my fingers across the ridges of my cheek, the places where skin meets scar, soft meets tough. I breathe in, out. For years, I thought beauty made me powerful, that my worth lived in symmetry and smoothness and glass skin. But I was wrong. It was never my face. It was my fire, the same fire he tried to extinguish, and failed. I reach for my phone, hit record. This time, it's not for followers. It's not even for closure. It's a reminder. I look into the lens. Straight, steady. You can heal and burn bright at the same time. Just don't let them make you forget who you are. A pause, a breath, and then, and to Chase, if you're watching this, you were right about one thing. I smile, scarred and sacred. I'll never be the same again. Fade to black.